Hello, everyone. My name is Thomas Hou. I'm a professor for applied mathematics at Caltech. Today, I'm very happy to share with you my personal perspective of Buddhism and science. Here's a brief outline of my talk today. Science and technology have greatly enhanced our ability in communications. Nowadays, one can use a cell phone to make video call with people far away. This is something we could only imagine in a science fiction movie many years ago, now become a reality. Thoughts can also propagate like a microwave signals. Using this property, now people can make brain-to-brain communication a reality with a computer as an interpreter. Some high-level cultivator could actually receive thought signals without using any devices. I would like to mention Dharma Master Yizhao Hou, the founder of City of 10,000 Buddha, and Dharma Master Hui Sen, the founder of Jiguang Temple in Taiwan. I've been very fortunate to have the opportunity to study Buddhism under their guidance. There was a collection of YouTube video produced by the American disciple of Master Yizhao Hou, in which they share some of their amazing experience of studying Buddhism under the guidance of Dharma Master Hua. Scientific research is conducted based on observation, measurement, and experiments. A very important criteria is that any conclusion must be reproducible. Scientists have developed many devices with finite resolution to study various properties of our universe. This is a limited view because our ability to view the universe is limited by the devices that we can produce at a time. The Buddhism studied the visible and invisible form of the universe through cultivation and the law of cause and effect. By reducing our desire through cultivation, one can realize the full potential of our mind power and attain our own wisdom. Buddhism is based on the law of cause and effect, while physics has developed various physical laws. I'm an applied mathematician, so we know the mathematical theory are established based on logical derivation from some well-accepted axioms. Buddhism's view of our world is established based on some fundamental principles using the law of cause and effect. This fundamental principle, in general, cannot be verified directly in a physical laboratory because they actually involve very complex objects of the universe and will take a much longer time scale over the history in order to get some confirmation. But if we, by analyze all the events that happen in a very long time scale during the history, actually using a statistical method, one can get a lot of confirmation of this fundamental principle. So the advance of science has improved our understanding of the universe. Many things that previously unknown to us now become known. The dark matter is a great example. So dark matter, it is a form of matter that does not interact with the electromagnetic field. In other words, it does not observe or reflect or emit electromagnetic radiation. Therefore, it's very difficult to detect. So scientists infer their existence only through the gravitational effect that they produce. So people believe that the dark matter accounts for about 85% of the matter in the universe, which is a lot. There was still a lot of mystery about the dark matter, and scientists develop various theories to study dark matter. It's still an active area of research. So one theory that I particularly like is the high-dimensional theory of our universe. There was a recent paper by Professor Neuber's group in Germany, so in which they proposed a 5-dimensional model. This is an artistic illustration of the dark matter distribution in a 5-dimensional space. So this theory says that all the phenomena that we observe about dark matter in our universe, it is a indirect influence of the objects from a high-dimensional space projected to our 3-dimensional space. So I find this theory is very interesting. Imagine that 100 years ago, if people talk about dark matter, right? I guess most people will not believe it because it's not something you can see or touch or you can verify, reproduce in a laboratory, right? But just because that we cannot see them, reproduce them, verify them at the time due to our technology limitation, it does not mean that they do not exist, right? So as the science progress and we develop more and more from technical tool, and also with the advance of science, then now we are able to see that this dark matter, something as mysterious dark matter, actually exists in the world. In fact, the Buddhism has also a very comprehensive view of the universe. Even for a very tiny grain of sand that has a world of its own. And also our universe does not have only a single world that we reside on, right? There is a multiple layer of worlds that exist in the universe. So I find that this point of view is kind of consistent with the view that our universe is actually live in a higher dimension than 3 dimension. So Buddhism states that all living beings are equal. They all have Buddha natures. Out of the compassion for all living beings, the Buddhism promotes vegetarian or plant-based diet. In fact, one of the 5 basic precepts in Buddhism is no killing, including no killing of animals. And more people now realize that the animal actually share the same feeling as human being. A great example is the story of Lawrence Anthony, who's the author of the very well-known book of The Elephant Whisperers. So Lawrence and his wife saved a herd of troubled elephant in his private game reserve in South Africa in the 1990s. So this herd of elephant used to be attacked by the hunters. So they are very angry at humans trying to escape from the natural park where they used to reside. So after they has been relocated to Lawrence Tula private game reserves, they still do not trust humans. They're trying to escape. So Lawrence spent a lot of time to communicating with this herd of elephant. He spent days and nights talking to this elephant, telling stories to them, singing to them, and trying to persuade them to stay in his reserve. So after many days and months of effort, so finally this herd of elephant received the kindness from Lawrence. So they gradually accepted Lawrence as a good human friend. So since then they established amazing bonds. So look at this picture. This is the major Nana and Lawrence. So they are actually very friendly. They play together. It was not like that at all at the beginning. There's a lot of hatred and mistrust between the herd of elephant and Lawrence. On March 2nd, 2012, very unfortunately, Lawrence died of a heart attack suddenly. For some unknown reason, the 2 herd of elephant living in the private game reserve, that they somehow sense or they receive this signal that beloved human friend Lawrence has passed away. So they tried to come to Lawrence's house to pay respect and to say goodbye to them. So this 2 herd of elephant, 12 hours from their grazing ground in the reserve to Lawrence's house. So after they arrived at Lawrence's house the next day, they all lined up in front of Lawrence's house to pay homage to Lawrence. And for the next 2 days, they did not eat or drink anything. So show their sympathy and their condolence to Lawrence. We know that the elephant have the tradition to mourn the death of one of their own. So they really treat Lawrence as one of their own. It's the best human friend that they have. According to Lawrence's wife, Francois, so this herd of elephant actually come back the next few years in the same day, in the same time to pay respects. So I find this a very touching, amazing story that shows that the animal and human being can have amazing bond. They really actually share the same feeling. So if a human attack this animal or trying to kill them, they would take revenge. They fight back, right? But if you treat them very well, if you show your love and caring like Lawrence did, so the animal love you back the same way, even more, right? You can see at the death of Lawrence, this 2 herd of elephant show great love and caring and compassion. Right? This is unbelievable. So plant-based diet has now been accepted by more and more people as a healthy lifestyle. There's a very excellent documentary produced by Netflix in 2018, The Game Changers. So in this documentary, they interview many scientists, doctors, and world-class athletes. So they also present a lot of scientific evidence, scientific study that plant-based diet can actually be very healthy for people, including athletes. There was some story in the movie that some athlete got injured during the training. By adopting a plant-based diet, they actually can recover much faster and can regain their peak performance power much more quickly. I have benefited a lot from watching this documentary. I would highly recommend it to you if you have not watched it already. Finally, I would like to say something about a scientist's social responsibility. So science has greatly enhanced our understanding of the universe. So nowadays we are able to study material or matters at a very, very small length scale, like the nano length scale or even atomistic length scale. So when scientists study material at such a microscopic length scale, they found with surprise that our mindset could actually change the outcome of the experiments. This is something very counterintuitive, right? Because from the classical mechanics, classical physics, it suggests that all material properties should be deterministic, right? Should be independent how you measure it and what's your mindset, right? But on the other hand, quantum mechanics provide a different view of the universe. It showed that such a phenomenon is possible, so it provides a partial explanation. There was a very famous experiment conducted by Alain Aspect in the early 80s, in which he conducted the experiment for two almost identical particles, in the sense they follow the same wave function. So he put these two wave particle very far apart. He observed that if you measure one of the particle and the other particle, the other twin particle, no matter how far away you put them, they can actually feel it almost instantaneously. This is very counterintuitive. So Einstein and other physicists thought that such a phenomenon is not possible. So that actually he kind of have doubt about the quantum mechanics view of the universe. And there's a very famous Einstein-Podolsky and Rosen paradox, because Einstein believed that no information can be transmitted faster than the speed of light. But the Aspect experiment settled this long dispute and confirmed that quantum mechanics view of the universe is actually irrelevant. While science has made fundamental and transformative change to our life, scientific discovery could also have an unexpected negative consequence. One of the examples is the invention of the nuclear energy in the last century, right? So we know that if you use a nuclear energy to build a nuclear power plant, and that will supply a lot of energy to make our life very easy, right? So we need to consume a lot of energy, and the nuclear energy provided abundant sources of energy. This is very peaceful usage. On the other hand, atomic energy has also been used to produce a nuclear weapon, atomic bomb, right? That has a massively destructive power, right? So imagine that if a nuclear war breaks out in the future, that could have a devastating consequence to the world and to our civilization. So scientists, as we conducted our scientific research and discovery, we have to be extremely mindful on the consequence of our discovery, right? So we have to uphold a very high ethical standard. So in this sense, I believe that Buddhism and other religions could provide a valuable guidance to the future development of science. I think this is a very important thing that we should keep in mind. With that, I will stop, and that's all I would like to talk about. Thank you for watching. Hope you will enjoy it.